Welcome to the Ogles channel. Today let's talk about what the worst Legend of Zelda game is, according to fans. Not necessarily my opinion, what fans think what the worst Zelda game is, because NintendoLife recently did a poll because they saw that worst Zelda was trending on social media, and they did a poll for all of their users to take part in on what is the worst Legend of Zelda game, and the results are not unexpected, but very, very, very disappointing for me. But let's take a look at it. Now, first off, they didn't include every Zelda game on here. They purposely left off, it says, anything that's non-canon is taken off, like the Warriors game, the bow training. That also includes like the CDI games and, you know, those little side games that no one talks about, which I'd like to play at some point, but that's a side point. And they also said that they put the remasters and such under one umbrella when it came to that as well. And we can see all the games that are competing here, and you get to choose up to 3 if you're, participating in the voting. But let's scroll down here. Let's take a look at the results. Now, as we look at the results here, one game is just knocking that bar graph off to the charts, just really busting out the side there, and that is Zelda 2: The Adventures of Link. And we can scroll down, we can look at the rest of them, but none of them are even coming remotely close here until you get down to Triforce Heroes, which is difficult to play for a lot of people because it does require like 3DSs, I believe is how it works. But if you're looking at just a single player experience, Zelda 2: The Adventure of Link is the worst Legend of Zelda game, according to fans on NintendoLife, which is roughly 24,799 people who voted think that this is the worst Legend of Zelda game. Now, I could not disagree more. I think it's actually one of my favorite in the entire series. I think the lore is great. I think the gameplay is great. It's just a great game. I have actually a link above me here where I'll go through and explain why this is such a misunderstood game in the series. But I just don't understand, like, why are so many fans against this game? And as you scroll down, there are some comments down here. One comment that really rang true as you look down through here was, let's see where it was at. Oh yes, by NKR here. They said, is Zelda 2 a default vote? I'm pretty sure most of the people chose it without playing it just because of its reputation. It is not a bad game, it is only different. And 21 people hearted that, which means a lot of people agree with that sentiment, and that's really where I think this poll falls into place. I don't think people played Zelda 2. Like I said, I think they saw it, they know its reputation, they clicked dislike, and moved on with their life. Because, granted, none of these games that are listed up here are necessarily bad games, but, I mean, come on, you're going to put that below, I don't know, the Phantom Hourglass, Spirit Tracks, I mean, Triforce Heroes, I mean, like, come on. Like, this is not the worst Legend of Zelda game, and I think it's unfair that so many fans are putting it when I really do think that they just simply haven't played the game. And as you scroll down here, there are a few other people who stand up for it as you go. There's another one down here that said, I think people chose Zelda 2 because it's accepted as the worst. The concept has a life of its own, and people now go into it thinking it's bad. I've seen it happening with other games like Secret of Mana, where several YouTube reviewers pick apart the shortcomings and then establish that a game is bad. I don't know, I haven't played all the games on the list, but I like Zelda 2. It's not my favorite, but it's not as bad as people say. And once again, it's got torn apart, and no one chose it because they haven't played it. Someone else wrote, Zelda 2 is a good game. Tough as nails and a product of its time, sure, but I still enjoyed my time with it, as was the case with a lot of sequels in Nintendo's early video game days. It's more experimental and the black sheep of its series, however, it's still a Zelda game all the same. But then we have the opposing side, the ones who really want to knock it in there on Zelda 2, and says, Zelda 2 is a trash game. It isn't because it's hard, it's because it isn't fun. If it was, there would be other Zeldas like it with lower difficulty, but there aren't, cause it sucks. How Zelda 2 isn't far and away the front runner with Zelda 1 behind it, I don't know. And see, right there already, I mean, like, it is the front runner, but and that's another complaint I have, is Zelda 1 is just as cryptic. It's got all the same complaints as Zelda 2 if you actually play the two games. I just don't think people are really giving the game a chance. And someone else wrote, The Adventure of Link is way too steep of a difficulty curve, and even grinding up on stats doesn't make it that much easier if there are still parts of the game that are too tedious or instantly kill you. I do appreciate the fact that it had a lot going for it during development, but man, it sure has that notorious reputation of being absurdly difficult. And once again, they're talking about the reputation, not their actual gameplay experience of going through the entire thing. It's that reputation that's killing this game. Another fellow wrote down here, probably Zelda 2, it feels aimless. I don't like the 2D side-scrolling, especially for a Zelda game, and the art is ugly as sin. At least this person was honest. Zelda 2: Adventure of Link. you couldn't get past Death Mountain, then you didn't really play the game. Did not enjoy Zelda 2 at all, and I'm happy they haven't gone back to it. Zelda 2 is bad because it is hard. I mean, I'm starting to think that fans of Zelda aren't really fans of Zelda. I think they just like the more popular entries in the series, and they're not willing to go back and give the roots of the series a actual try to see if they enjoy it. But let's take a look at some of the favorite games, I guess, or the least hated games. Four Swords Anniversary Edition, 0%. That is the least hated Zelda game of all time, according to this. Other least hated games: A Link Between Worlds, Oracle of Ages, Oracle of Seasons, Ocarina of Time, Link's Awakening, and Link to the Past. All of those are the least hated games in the series, and for the most part, I can agree with most of that. What do you guys think? Do you think Zelda 2, The Avenger of Link, is the worst Zelda game? Do you agree with what 25,000 people as an overall said? Or do you think the worst Zelda game goes to a different game in the series? Let me know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. As always, go out there, find a great game to play. Grape or great? Great game to play, and just simply have a great rest of the day.